And there it is. The whole room smells like fresh baked bread.
When I travel in India, I always carry with me fresh baked bread. And when I meet people and they say, "Where did you get that bread?" I say, "Well, I baked it." And they say, "How did you do that? You can't bake bread in India." I said, "I sure can. I bake it on an aluminum pot on a gas stove." And they just don't believe me. So I decided I'd make this video to show you how it's done. One of my first students was Hans from Holland, and he baked his first loaf of bread. He was just staying in a room and didn't have any kitchen, any supplies, just flour, sugar, yeast, and the pot, and he had a little portable gas stove that he brought with him. So here's his testimony.
You were very successful with this bread.
Oh, yeah.
This is your first bread?
Yeah, my first
Maybe.
one.
Okay. So, oh my God, that looks really good. The only thing was what? You didn't sift it, so maybe there's a lot of bugs in there.
I won't eat it, but
now you did it.
and it smells good and even a little bit for trying, but yeah.
Okay, great, great. So now to prepare the starter, what you need is the sugar, the brown sugar or the gur, yeast, you can get that local, and you put water. This is already a starter, but if you don't have that, then you put a couple spoons of flour inside, so it gives the yeast something to eat. Okay, so you can put a couple spoons of flour in there like that. And what I've done is I've already melted the gur in water, and so I just add that. I'll just add that. That's already the sugar water, and then you'll just put the yeast in there, and the sugar's already in there, and you let it sit. I make this in the morning and let it grow all day till like 5 o'clock. Then I'll put a spoon of salt in there, because the salt inhibits the yeast, so I'll wait and do that at the end. And then I'll cover it, because during the day when you cover it, I'll shake it up, mix it, then during the day you cover it, then it'll grow real nice. Actually you'll get kind of something like some alcohol in there first. So that's the process. Okay, so the yeast mixture has been sitting all day. I started in the morning around 8 or 9 in the morning, and then you just let it grow all day, and you get this kind of foamy, nice mixture here. And the last step, now it's about 5 in the afternoon, so it's been growing all day. The last step is you take a spoon of salt, and here in India the salt is very dirty, so I usually put it in water, and then I've already done this step, so I'm just going to mimic. I dissolve it in water, and then I put it in there, and the filter, it catches all the dirty stuff, so you don't have to eat that. I always wash my hands really good here. One thing is your fingernails, because it's so dirty. You try to want to clean your fingernails really good, because now what we're going to do is we're going to mix together the yeast solution, and we're going to mix it with the atta. Now, with a pot this size, the bread comes out to about like this thick. I use about 7 cups of flour or atta. We use this size, and I sift it, and it's good. Don't okay. It's good if you use a sifter, a nice fine sifter. Then you get out all the worms and all the little live stuff in there. And then this one's a little bit too big, so this about 10 rupees you get a little sifter like that. Now, if in India they put so much poisons and preservatives or chemicals in the flour, it's good if you find what's called shaki atta, and Punjabi shaki atta is the best. And what you want to find is little bugs, little worms, and little animals in there. That means they haven't poisoned the flour. So if they're alive, then it means your flour is good. You sift out the flour. I've already done that, and then you throw away all the animals. Okay, so What we do is we take this, this has already the salt mixed in it, the yeast solution and the salt mixed in it, and then we just put that inside there like that. Okay, you can put the whole thing in there. So what we have are 7 cups. It's about 900 grams of flour, so you can just get an idea. And that's also something that you can experiment with. Then the first steps are just to get the flour together. Another thing, sometimes what I do is I take a very brown banana and I put that in here too, and that makes it really nice. And another thing you can do is, if you like, you can put what's called ajwan, a nice herb, into the bread. It's a spice that helps for digesting the bread, but it also gives it a very nice taste. Okay, so okay, now you can shut it off. You don't want to start out with too much water, but the whole mixture, you know, for this size bread, you can put that much water in there. So sometimes if you put too much water in there, it won't be nice. It will be harder to mix. So you just kind of have to knead it a little bit here until it gets a little bit sticky, and then you start to press on it, and then it'll kind of form into a okay, now you can see this really turning into bread dough. You can just wet your hands like this and you go in there and it starts to get a little softer, and you can see that it really starts to even look like bread dough, and it sticks together nicely and it doesn't stick on your hands. And then I like to sometimes throw it down like that. And some people go like that. And okay, and then what I do at the end is I'll take a dough, like a ball of dough like this, and I'll clean this out, and then I'll put this in there, and this will become my starter dough, and I can keep that for 4 or 5 days in there, and I will just keep the lid on like that, so that it'll start to get a little bit hard on top, and then it won't get too sour. So what we're doing actually is we're souring this bread. You won't taste the sourness of the bread, but we're souring it so that all the acid in the bread turns neutral, so it's good for your digestion. But also it can keep for up to 10 days. I even have had it keep for 2 weeks. So it's great for in India. You can travel with it, and you always have some good food with you. Okay, so once you get done kneading the bread, the dough, then you just cover it like this, and you leave it. Now it's 5 p.m. and so by 5 or 6 in the morning when you wake up, then you can just you take it out and you can start again with it. At that time, you can see this pot. What I've done is I put what they call dalda. In Hindi they say dalda. It's a kind of a thick margarine, like oil, and I melt it a little bit, and I coat the pot with that oil. You can't use butter or ghee because that will burn, or any kind of oil will burn when you bake the bread. So you just coat it with this. Okay, so then you put the flour inside, and you just spin it around in there and get the surfaces all coated. And then there. Now you have a pan that's ready. After the dough has risen for about 10 hours or whatever in the morning, then I will push it down, knead it into kind of a flat, thick pancake, put it in the bottom, and then let it rise for another 2 hours or 3 hours until it's up to about here, and then I will take and bake it.